when I'm walking down the street.
I do want to say to Doni and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
my head up.
I'm South Carolina, so I just
gotta be you.
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Mars?
Oh, my heart,
Happy 20th anniversary.
my heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? John.
Gotta be me and dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself. There's a
The doctor lived next door to the janitor, to the reverend, and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Doni, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it for all the more.
letting His glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover. In it, the winning for the long haul, baby. All right, all right, all right. Got Adedayo, Edu. But now she got Emoji Solar, Edu. I wish it'd just be Lushy Lush, but hey, that's my African American perspective. Adedayo, Emoji Solar, Edu. I practice it. Or is it Moji Solar Adedayo Edu?
it's Moji Sola Adedayo Edu.
Moji Solar Adedayo Edu.
It's even longer than that, the full name.
Okay, well, since we doing this gymnastics of the mind, what else is it?
It's Moji Sola Adedayo Idayatu Edu. Is my full name.
Moji Solar Adedayo
Idayatu Edu.
Idayatu Edu.
Yes.
Is there more?
No, it's just, I'm known as many names. You know me as Lush from Lush Radio Online for being an
I'm
award-winning
trying to
media
explain that to
personality.
my lady. She said, well, hold up. Because see, we American, right? And so you might have Martin King or you might have Martin Luther King. At the most, you have Martin Luther King Jr. But no, not in Nigeria. Moji Solar Adedayo Eddie who?
Idayatu
Idayatu Edu.
Edu.
Edu. Woo.
And everybody does the same thing like you. They thought the Edu was education. Everywhere I go.
Because the email address had
Exactly.
.edu. I'm like,
I know.
oh, she's showing off her love for wrong.
I do love school, but the funny part about my last name, it doesn't come from, usually in traditions, it comes from a man rooted, but actually the last name comes from a woman, my great-great-grandmother. And that's where we get our name from. She was a strong-willed woman who had 3 sons, and
What
and
y'all
we keep
call
the
her?
last name. We just call her just grandma, but she just was, she was like,
woo. So you do say grandma. Can you imagine
well,
little
and
kids saying, Grandma Moji Solar Adedayo Edu. I mean, that would be hard for a little kid, even if you're
no,
Nigerian.
it's just Iya Edu, mother Edu, she's, Iya. When you say mother in Yoruba, it's Iya. So, she
you
was
Yoruba
the big
too.
mom. Huh?
Okay,
Yes, I'm Yoruba also.
So, and y'all call God Oludumare.
Olodum, or you call them Olon. You can say Olon, just God in general.
Olan,
Or Olon,
Olo, Olon, Olon.
Olon me like just God in general. Olodumare is actually a god, Orisha from the Yoruba tradition. But we call it general because we know we have many traditions in Nigeria. We have Christians, Yoruba practitioners, and we have Muslims in our country. Yes, we're very diverse, and we have different dialects. A lot of them, but the most popular ones are Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, and we have other ones too.
Eda, Eka. Those are two. I mean, I've been
Yeah,
to Nigeria, and I was
yeah,
I've learned to ask, are you Yoruba, Igbo, Eda, Eko, or Hausa?
yeah. And
And if they say the
yeah.
Igbo, then I say, oh, you got all of the money because the Igbo control the water. Why are you laughing? Is that true? Do the Igbo control the water? They like
Not
They
really.
like
I think
Republicans.
well, I mean, I wouldn't say that. I would say that the people that are really holding most of the money, I think the Hausa have always been like big in a lot of the trade and stuff. They're like silent money, the Hausa people. Yorubas are the big ones that are into like the music, entertainment, the movies. We blew up we have a lot of international, like Burna Boy, he's Yoruba. Davido, a lot of that. So, and we have $1 billion business in Nollywood movies that are actually copyrighted out in the US. So, and a lot of trade and a lot of different things. So it's crazy. I just hope we can get our politics together so we can get together, because Nelson Mandela said that if Nigeria gets ourselves together, then all of Nigeria will get together. So, because really we are self-sustainable. I'm still hoping they can get it together.
You and me too. Me and my daddy had kind of sort of a bet when I was about 15.
For real?
Yeah. He wasn't on our team. So yeah. He said it ain't happening. I said it is gonna happen.
One day it will.
Because many people have tried. Even a couple of soldiers from the US have been a part of trying to bring the Pan-Africanism together. I got books all over the place, but one that comes to mind is a few. Things Fall Apart, Chinua Achebe.
Oh my God. That is a classic. Oh, that brings back my childhood.
I was trying to explain that yesterday, but I didn't get the response you just gave. Finally, somebody who's seen the daggone book. Chinua Achebe, he is a Nigerian, or is it a he?
Yes, it's a he. And it was revolutionary, that book. It blew up worldwide, internationally, in the UK and the US and just globally. Like that, really, for authors, he was the OG when it comes to authors from Nigeria. So I mean, if you haven't gotten that book, I implore you to definitely check out the book. And every time you read it, it hits you differently. Just like The Alchemist, that's another book that I read. Different aspects of my life that just hits different depending on what stage of your journey you're in.
I want to tell you what stage in my journey I was in when I was in Africa. I was in Ethiopia. The plane had not taken off yet. And this Nigerian brother was behind me. And we all had a little cart. And he ran the cart over the back of my heels. Now, I just had a wonderful 2 weeks in Ethiopia, Tanzania. The plane right there. It's right there. We all see it. It's right there. No engine was on. You know that because you ain't hear no engine. I don't know where he was in a rush to, but I turned around and gave him that look your mother gave you after she done gave you 3 warnings already. I told you. Don't run over the back of my heels no more with that cart. Let me tell you, oh my goodness, this is my West African accent. I want to tell you something. Adedayo, Edu, Edetuyo, Adi. Let me tell you something. I was about to make a phone call to BWI. Look, he got on a purple shirt and striped pants. As soon as he come off the plane, smack him with a Homie the Clown sock. Okay, all right, I wasn't really thinking that. But it was like, dude. And then going over, oh my God, I'm talking about your homeboy. We're on Ethiopian Airlines. Now, you got Ethiopians over there, and you got Nigerians over there. And let me tell you something. It is going to be very interesting. Because the Ethiopians little, you know, they kind of real quiet, you know, kind of like yin and yang. They're two Nigerian brothers. Everybody else on the plane is sitting down, got the seatbelt on, you know, already. But no, not the Nigerian brothers. It's like, dude, sit your ass down. But the Ethiopian flight attendant, she yin and yang, sat him on down. You could tell she was used to sitting down people. But real suave, real professional. I said I couldn't do it. Between this cat that run over my heels and these two other cats that playing like they Jack in the Box and won't sit their ass down, I didn't know what it was going to be like. Your homeboys. You know, but they remind me like of East Baltimore. Actually, more like Brooklyn. And you brought Brooklyn in you anyway, don't you? Damn, you got Nigeria and Brooklyn and Baltimore. Wow. Leave her alone.
Well, Queens, I have my grandmother in Brooklyn, but Queens and Brooklyn, unfortunately, God rest her soul, I got a call she had passed this week, so definitely sending her prayers in the family. But yeah, Brooklyn is an interesting place, man. You know, each borough is interesting.
I watched the old lady get cussed out in Brooklyn at 7 a.m. She pulled up at the corner and was moving too slow. And the young man behind her called her everything but a child of God. I was like, it's 7 o'clock. So Brooklyn, Lagos. So listen, us Americans, and I've never been to Lagos.
Lagos is like New York, honestly. Like the fast pace.
No,
it's like a New York. It's fast paced. If you can survive Lagos, you can survive New York.
Oh yeah, that part. It's like Survivor. So this one cat who made his money in the streets told me he went to Nigeria. He went to Lagos. I said, oh yeah. He started telling me about his experiences. And I was listening to some context clues. And clearly he went over there like he was in America. Got his Nikes on, got his new Nikes on. I was like, so when did you get robbed? He said,
that's the question.
He said, that's the thing. When I told my people where I was at, they told me don't move, and they sent security over to get me.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, you think? Because they's about to get you. You basic math. A lot of us Americans, we just don't know no better.
If you're going to go to Nigeria, any African country, like know somebody before you pop up in there. Don't be too loud. Watch your surroundings. It's a beautiful place. Like Victoria Island, we have all the beautiful things that they have in New York, even expand, because we get stuff imported from like Italy and all different places. But just like in New York, you got to watch your surroundings. You can't be out there just be, showing off, wearing all these rings, doing all these things. Like you're bringing heat to yourself. And for those who've been out in the streets, you should know better. Come on now. Make sure you contact your people and let them know you're coming through.
He was on ice for a minute.
Oh, okay.
I said, well, you should have known even more.
If he was on ice, he should have known better.
They about to put you in a body bag, Slim.
I don't know why people get this misconception when they go to Africa. Like we sitting there with like flies. Like this ain't bad. Flies in our eyes and all these commercials. They stuff. That's all a lie. Like Nigeria is actually beautiful. Like I mean, you got some nice and your land you own. You know, lots of beautiful places in Africa. But I don't know. I think a lot of people don't get out enough. So
I
you'll
think
never know if you don't get out.
Lush, I saw a little Nigerian, little Maasai girl. We were out
Mm-hmm.
in Tanzania.
Tanzania is beautiful.
I saw some flies though. Let me just tell you.
See that? But you ain't say Nigeria. That's Tanzania. That's
I ain't
Tanzania.
gonna put it on. I'm gonna put it on. Look, they out there in the hot sun. They got this
They
hot
in Tanzania. That's not Nigeria though. That's a whole.
in Tanzania. It was a hot situation out in the middle of this plain. I was
We love
wondering,
you,
like,
Tanzania. Okay.
I'm like, if I take a picture, how will people know I'm in Africa? Because you just look that way, that way, that way, that way, and it's nothing but land. How would anybody? What's the landmark? How would anybody know you in Tanzania? I don't know.
Well, I
It's
mean,
just trees.
there's
It's a
just
lot of
trees and
trees.
stuff.
Oh
They
my
might
God,
know
it's a lot of trees.
it's a lot of trees and stuff. Did you end up buying land when you went to Africa, or at least look at a plot in a country you
Lady,
might want to check out?
No. I was so hungry, I couldn't wait to get back home. I was with some Seventh-day Adventists, and they don't eat meat. Nobody told me I was going on a diet for 2 weeks.
We do have a lot of vegetarian
Ain't nobody tell me.
cuisine, but we have meat too though.
I'm with the Seventh-day
Sure, we do.
Adventists.
I don't know about Tanzania, but
I was
they
on
do
a
have meat
compound.
products.
I was on a compound. It was all Seventh-day Adventists.
Oh,
I was kidnapped. So, and the only TV they had was Seventh-day Adventist TV. And
no!
yeah, you get it. One day at a time, sweet Jesus. The white version, right? It's like all day and all night. That's all I'm asking. No Shirley Franklin. No, I won't complain.
They was preaching some morning to night. You were on.
Yes, all day. No Speed Racer, Captain Chesapeake. No cartoons, no Scooby-Doo.
7-day Adventists don't play. One thing about African church versus U.S. church is different. I'm talking about from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, you singing some song.
Ain't nobody tell me that, so I escaped. I escaped one day.
How?
I'm going to tell you, I'm from Baltimore. If there's a way out, Baltimore going to find it. I'm going to tell you. So I noticed there's a gate. And there's the main road. And while they over there reading Bible scriptures, I noticed that looked like a little caravan come through like every hour. And it's like 20 people deep. And I know the way they going is to the roundabout where the hotel is. So one day I step outside the gate and get on the caravan. Now, I done been in a hack before. I done been in a gypsy cab with the little curtains and all, but I ain't never been on a caravan with 20 people deep. And then the lady next to me had a chicken. And the chicken looked at me and I looked at the chicken. And the chicken looked at me and I looked at the chicken. And I was like, I don't feel sorry for you, chicken, because I'm hungry right now. But I ain't never had to kill a live chicken. And I was pondering that. Next thing I know, we're at the roundabout. And I get off, but I forgot to tell you, this time of night, it's dark. Ain't no street lights. And I make the wrong turn on the roundabout.
Oh, no.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And let me tell you something. There's no street lights on either side of the street, but I see 1 million people moving in the dark.
Mm.
And I just kept walking. Next thing I know, I was like, well, you know you're going the wrong direction because you don't see no lights whatsoever. So just turn around and go back the other way. But I was kind of paralyzed in fear.
Wow.
Because I didn't know what was going on. I'm seeing all of these people. I mean, it looked like a 1,000,000-man march.
Wow.
In the dark. I mean,
there's not a whole bunch of lights out there, though.
Oh, ain't no lights. No lights. That takes some hell of a vision. They must eat a lot of carrots. Because they were just flowing. I mean, if they were dealing drugs, if they was dealing water, I don't know. I couldn't tell. But I knew I wasn't going the right way. So I turned around, went back, made the right turn on the roundabout, found the hotel. And the last thing I want to say is the hotel was owned by Indians. And I was like, damn, what do we own, even in Africa? Like the souvenir shop. I'm not giving the Indian souvenir money I should be giving a Tanzanian. But if I didn't, I wouldn't have got nothing.
Well, at least you found the hotel, so it was a happy story.
And it was some different tasting chicken, let me tell you. Because we used to American shot up steroid and all that. This is real
deal chicken. If you notice, when you go to Africa, you end up losing more weight because the food doesn't have all these preservatives, all this nasty stuff they have in there. Everything is fresh. So, and you know, India and Africa have always had, especially Nigeria, has always had this connection with India for a long, long time. So, yeah. It's just political stuff, you know, also cultural stuff. There's some similarities also, like with the Nigerian culture and Indian culture. I know with Nigeria, I don't know of all of Africa, but it's been deep rooted for a long, long time. Yeah.
Then I saw the Chinese and they building roads.
Yeah, Chinese honestly have invaded, like, you know, ni hao to everybody. They have invaded like all of the countries. They're all in Africa, South Africa heavy, all of the major places. They're in Nigeria. Actually, we have a Chinatown in there. Chinese has actually become a second language in Nigeria. It's gotten that bad. So I'm hoping, even though they've traced their DNA back to Africa, but still there's still some discrimination and racism and stuff. And I think it's a little payback, unfortunately. I think there's a little payback of when Nigerian guys used to go to China and go marry their women. And now China was like, oh, yeah, we're going to come up in here real quick and do our thing. But they took it to the extreme. And now it's like, I don't know. Like, honestly, no one's talking about China like in all these different countries. If China decided that they want to just push a button and say, let's get activated, they got people everywhere. There's a Chinatown literally in every country. And almost every 50 states, almost every state in the US. And they didn't do it aggressively. They did it very strategically.
And they got people dancing. So if everybody got TikTok on their phone, doesn't that mean they got satellites all over?
Come on now. And you notice they filter the TikTok in China. It's all educational stuff, not the stuff that we get here.
If you got TikTok on your phone, they got a satellite on your phone.
I mean, that's any app though, Donnie, any app.
But this China,
I have so many tech friends.
They got 1.4 billion people.
And how many people have US people and people they've hired in TikTok, and how many people that they have in tech and hackers and things of that nature?
How many people in China got Facebook on their phone?
A lot of that stuff has been disabled.
So they disabled our app, but we got their app live and kicking. I didn't also realize that the U.S. has so many military bases surrounding China.
There's a lot of them.
Let me just say, I didn't do this in the introduction. Thank you for your service. You are a U.S. veteran.
Yes, I am. U.S. Army
That's
veteran,
the kind of
yes.
general I would be. I watched a lot of war movies, and they be, I'm like, dude, you gonna finish the salute or what is it?
Well, you're supposed to have your hand here at an angle, and it's supposed to come up here by your brow,
Right there by
right?
the brow. You see it? You see it?
Yeah, but some people do all kinds of like crazy stuff, and I just watch them, and it's funny.
In the movies, I done seen them do. And why they do it like that in the movies? They be all over here.
Because they haven't done their research.
I remember when I was 15, there was a president of Nigeria who was a general. So I'm talking about 1980.
Oh wow, yeah. I was born in 1981, so it's just right after when I was born.
Well, he was a general. I remember this. He had on the
I
general.
remember him.
He had on a general gear, whole bunch of medals, military. That was around the time that Idi Amin came out. The movie was Amin. Amin. What was he?
That is hilarious.
Idi Amin, Uganda. Now
Uganda's another powerful country too.
I got a homeboy in East Baltimore. We call him Black Stevie. Idi Amin, they'd have called him Black Edie because we got brown, you got light skin, and you got black. Some people under the bed dark black. I mean, he was black. He was really black. I love black
beautiful
people.
Skin tone though, beautiful.
Yeah, but they painted a picture of Edie in the movie. They tried to make it seem like he was a cannibal, and I didn't see it that way. I thought, I don't know really what was going on, but I didn't see him as no damn cannibal. And the Europeans tried to paint him as a cannibal. But I know one thing, he did not play with the Europeans. When Edie told him, get out of my country, they hurry up and got up out of there.
They got up out of there. But I mean, look at all the typical portrayals of Africans as savages, even in this country.
Well, Tarzan,
we technically
would have got as soon as he would have lifted his white hand up, he would have got. It wouldn't have been no swinging, and he damn sure wasn't saving nobody. And the cheetahs and the lion, they would have ate his ass. Tarzan, and that little loincloth he had on.
Tarzan was so fictional. Now, I'm not gonna lie, like when my mother was younger, she did take care of a little young Caucasian brother, and he used to call her auntie and stuff. Back then, we do have some white people that were raised in Nigeria. The kids were raised there and they speak our dialect and stuff. So but Tarzan is fictional. I don't even think that a Tarzan would actually like survive in Africa back then. So, they always have to have some kind of pictorial and then have us looking like savages. I mean, look at the U.S. Constitution. We're still not technically written in there. We still have lynching still being put on the board, like on the floor. Like, is that insane? You still have modern day slavery going on in the U.S. Like,
yeah, but you also got modern day escape from slavery going on, because I've seen some people say some things to black people that were racist, and they didn't even make it out to 7-Eleven. They just started catching all kinds of lefts and rights and uppercuts and overhand rights, kind of like that place down in Alabama.
Oh yeah, with the chairs. Oh, the signal with the throwing it, the hat thing. Woo. Well, people got bold, and black people are standing up for themselves. Enough is enough. We're not taking the nonsense. You can either be an ally, and oh God, you're like, this is Sparta.
This is Wakanda. They told me that if I'm gonna be a man in Tanzania, then I gotta kill a lion with this. I'm like, this ain't that long, you know what I'm saying? And they supposed to like fall down and let the lion follow that.
The hunter. You are the hunter.
No, I will be the eaten You making me that 38.
And speaking about that, right now we're having a crazy genocide going on in Congo. Um, we have all these different. The world is on fire right now, chaos. But Congo at this moment is going through a little genocide that's been going on. Mothers, daughters, families, and
You're trying to clean it up. It is no
yeah,
little
it's
genocide.
it's a it's a it's a it's a genocide, and it's horrible. And the things that power our phones up, batteries and all these things, they are fighting over this mineral. Africa is rich with so many minerals,
Are
and
they
it's
fighting, or are the European powers who seek these resources going over to the scene and giving you a little bit of something, giving me a little bit of something, and say, look, she said your mother is a rotten goat, and she go over there and tell you that, and vice versa. You know how people instigate.
it could. I really
That's how they
don't.
did
I
it the
don't
first
see it
time
like
they
that.
came with guns. They give you the guns, they give me the liquor, or they give you the liquor and give me the gun.
Well, they do that with every country, right? They give you what is supply and demand. What is the need? What do they want, right?
They didn't need it because they didn't even know about it.
They didn't need this stuff, but once again, political parties who are playing a role in this, that are allowing this to happen, are making their pockets fat and lining up their pockets. And it's insane. At human life is being taken away at this moment when we're talking right now.
You know
You
when
know,
Congo had an incident about 5 years ago.
talk about it.
Not Congo, Belgium.
Belgium had a whole thing with the Congo in general.
But
You
Belgium had
know,
a problem at home in Belgium, in Europe. And I
ah,
saw black people changing their profile picture to say, I stand with Belgium. I said, what kind of ignorant Negro Ramus is this?
well, that's insane because they dealt with a whole bunch of slavery and discrimination in Belgium.
King Leopold.
Yes.
They cut my hands off in the Congo. Not just my hands, the entire tribe. You got an entire tribe where nobody got a right hand. Because these SOBs, they cut everybody right hand off because you ain't produced enough rubber. I stand with Belgium. I said, you got to be the dumbest black person I ever met in my life.
Well,
Because Facebook tell you to do it.
if you've been brainwashed all your life, right? And some people don't know their history. If you've been brainwashed and the person that has been the oppressor, has told you a different narrative and you don't do your due diligence, then these are the things that happen. It's sad. Many African countries have been exploited and have been robbed, and people have been bullies coming in there and taking all of the resources. It happens for years.
What African country has not been robbed?
That question.
I was in Ethiopia. And I remember seeing this white Jesus on the wall. And everything I heard about Ethiopia up until that point, I was good with. But then I'm in this hotel, Ethiopian owned, and I look up on the wall, and the Jesus is white. I'm like, you got a white Jesus on the wall. Can you explain? Oh, it doesn't matter what color, because Jesus has no color. Like, yeah, dude, he white. Right there. I'm like, we got all the way across the water, and we know dude was black. Y'all saw Jesus right over there. He walked right there. What happened? How did you think he was not black? It does not matter. Oh, yes, it do.
I mean, I love my Ethiopian and Eritrean people, even though they're all the same, even though because of the civil war. But it's funny over there because they have this misconception. They have this stereotype about black people in general. So, they favor a lot of, our white Caucasian cousins, which is very interesting to me. But honestly, if you go back into history, like Christianity actually originally, like the original form of Christianity, started in Ethiopia a long, long time ago, and it was stolen. It was stolen and manipulated and structured into what we have now, and these different segments of it, and it's just.
It was very interesting to me. A Caucasian man this weekend wanted to tell me about the history of the Hebrew people.
Oh, Lord. I don't even want to get into that conversation.
I told that European man, you better go back over there because you're about to get your feelings real hurt because you believe in something that's not true. You believe in what you saw on television. You've been watching too many Charlton Heston movies. Let me tell you, you talk about Tarzan? Man, when I see them Jesus movies and they got the white actors playing in it, and ain't no black people in it, and it's like watching an alien movie with no aliens.
It's sad, but this is what we grew up on.
I got books everywhere. I got books. I got conscious people around me.
I know, but like, who didn't watch the Ten Commandments during Thanksgiving? Like, it always came on, right? The Ten Commandments came on. But when you start awakening up, like black around the world, indigenous people around the world are unlearning. We're unlearning about government. We're unlearning about all the things, and people, and even our own culture, they were kind of brainwashed, and they brought that same information over. So now that we're unlearning and everything, the truth is being uncovered, okay? So you can't hoodwinkle people anymore. We are seeing the truth, and they're putting it in front of your face. If you choose not to take the information, that's on you. You can continue to be the sheep if you want to at the end of the day.
Well, let me tell you. Now, there's something about the Nigerians I really admire. They will rob anybody. Oh, my goodness. When I found that the Nigerians knocked off that European bank, they ain't got no fear. Hey, listen. Here we go. Oh, the Nigerians robbed them European banks. They put the mash on them. And boy, did I tell you how many Nigerian women tried to marry me?
How many?
They thought I was a prince. I said, but I am a prince. But I know they got different rules over there. You got to give up dowries, and who give up the dowry?
You got to do a dowry.
Yes. That's a little sticky.
And not just Nigeria. In a lot of countries, you have to do a dowry. Yeah. It's only here in the U.S. they don't do it. But I
got 5 goats. Why you laughing? Oh, she want 5 Mercedes Benz. Hey, listen, I got 5 goats.
Nigerians like nice things. Like everybody likes nice things, but we work hard for it, though.
I would take my 5 goats and I will mosey on down the road. Find someone a little more.
Donnie, stop with your nonsense. Stop. You want to stop making fun of my Nigerians?
That's all I got. 5 goats and a German Shepherd. And we got to have somewhere to eat.
Two of the richest people in the world in communications are in Nigeria. We have a lot of technically advanced people in Nigeria. Some very amazing artists coming out of Nigeria, music, and more, and actors. Like Nigeria has a lot of people. And one thing about us, you can drop us anywhere and we will survive. Just like black people in general.
I need to fill up on some coffee. I need you to tell us about Nigerian music for 2 minutes.
Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about Nigerian music, right? So the original underlayer of Nigerian music is Fuji, right? The Fuji sound is with the drum. And that's like the layer, like Burna Boy would say, if you're making a pizza. So it started originally with Fuji music. If you know Fela Kuti, he used to play outside back in the day. I remember when my mom was growing up, he was around the area where she was at. And he used to play concerts outside. No one knew he was going to be so big and international artist. He was like Art Bob Marley to us. He was a freedom fighter, and he didn't take no mess from nobody, and he said his word, and his activism through his music. And so Fela Kuti just expanded the whole world of that. But also I grew up with Sunny Ade, was one of those people that used to come to the US and perform, Shina Pitas, all these different artists. And it was big. The Yoruba artists, most of them came out from the Yoruba side. Igbo music is a different sound with a different type of drum beat. Most of the time you'll see them dancing with either like a cloth or like a white handkerchief when they're dancing. So you started with the Fuji sound, right? So then it started going up a little bit, and then it was a little bit more of like, you know, auto tunes and stuff. You had Two-Face, you had P Square, and a lot of different people. Davido came out, and now you have Burna Boy. Burna Boy is like our new version of Fela, right? And come to find out, his father actually used to manage Fela Kuti back in the day. So you have a bit of that sound. If you still to see the similarities, you'll see that. And Burna Boy is an international artist. We call him the Nigerian giant, who has expanded, the actual Nigerian music in general. But we have a lot of people, and Sade, we love Sade so much.
She got your
and
last
she's
name.
having her name is ANU. So I do. At first, people used to think we were cousins, but it's ANU, and she actually is not. Her father is Nigerian.
Y'all got different foreheads, though.
Yeah,
She got a different forehead,
but she's gorgeous though. But yeah, so even Nas, I think even Nas, I found out had a bit of Nigerian in him. And if you also go to the Yoruba, Yoruba lineage during like slavery, if you go to a lot of the Puerto Ricans are just realizing how much connection they have with the Yoruba tribe. And over there, they have a little village over there that still speaks Yoruba dialect in Puerto Rico.
Many of us African Americans have Yoruba roots and don't know.
Yes, they do. They do. They have to. If they go and do their DNA test, you will find that most of the people are either Yoruba or Igbo when they check their DNA test. Yep. So I mean,
they're not checking for their Nigerian roots.
Some of them are scared to find out.
I'm Italian. I'm German. You are black. You're black. You're black. Yeah, you might have some residuals, but you're black. You remember that in one of them? You're black. Now I will tell you this. Let me tell you what the DNA don't test for. Native American, Indigenous American.
Yeah.
Let me say this. There were black people already here when the Europeans arrived.
Already.
You had Africans from the motherland, including Mansa Musa, that been coming over here. Even the Egyptians, they've been coming over here.
Egyptians been coming here.
We listened to some idiot that tried to tell us how people just came here in 1619. It's like, son, go do your homework.
There are buildings and technology here that was way before most of the time when they even wrote any of the stuff that they've changed and manipulated. There's some buildings that they can't even explain who built them that are here in the US that have already been here before those mudslides and all that stuff. Remember the that World Fair they used to have where it was a whole bunch of technology that they tried to erase that never happened, where there was technology that was way advanced before here that I still don't understand why we don't have now? Come on, man.
I know about the Dogon people of Mali. They were studying the stars without a telescope.
Come on.
And then the Europeans want to say, oh no, aliens gave them that.
And we want to we know there's other beings out here, but you give us credit. Like, okay, the divination, way we do divination in Yoruba, the actual Italian, it actually is a numeric system that is actually used for the modern day computer. And people don't want to recognize.
Was divination.
Divination is the way, like almost like when you see in the future. So you'll go to a babalawo and they'll tell you the future of what's going on in your life path or your life purpose. And you would make these marks and stuff. into the sand, and it was actually a calculation, a mathematical segment that's used for the modern day computer. There's documentaries and all these things about it. So we're finding a lot of things. Even our own Nigerian people in Europe, if you don't know the richness of our culture, the science. If you look at look at the Moors. There are Moors here in the U.S. There's Moors that have been around here before they called them black people. There were Moors that had science that taught a lot of the Europeans about a lot of things. But we don't sit here and talk about that stuff.
When I try to tell our people that the Moors dominated the Iberian Peninsula, first of all, they be like, where that's at? Okay, but when you find out it's Spain and Portugal, because, you know, as Americans, we're ignorant when it comes to geography. I know in other countries, Africa, Europe, people study the world map a lot better than we do. I try to keep a globe by me because there's so much to know, over 190 countries, but
those globes and those maps are fake too. They rewrote everything. Like all these different things that we studied back in the day, we're uncovering like maps that are older than that. It's insane. All of the lies, all of the cover-ups. You know how many holy books and different things that have been ripped out that are lying in the Vatican at this moment? I can't wait till they uncover that stuff.
I want to be a part of the team that uncovers it. Just like the Queen. What's her name? Don't tell me you froze up on me. Still there? Well, the Queen. You
still there?
The Queen. When she died, I was seeing some very interesting comments coming from from English-speaking countries of people that look like me and you. They was like, we don't care nothing about her.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's
all
sad.
kinds of names.
Even, you know, the Irish. I love my Irish people. The Irish were like coming out because I mean they put them. I mean, there's some people in the Irish culture that their towns were literally wiped out in history. You know, it's a lot of stuff that happened. You know, we got colonized by the British.
How do a little country get halfway around the world and cause the Eritrean to not know the Ethiopian is his cousin and his brother?
They're the same people, but civil war. Come on, civil war happens.
How does this little country be all the way over in China and just giving them Hong Kong back?
India was colonized by the British too. Come on.
Oh yeah. Then they want to come over here to America and they blacker than me. And like they see me coming down the street, they play like they don't see me, and I play like I don't see them, and that's when somebody cuts your elbow.
But the thing is, we have to talk. We have to talk about the stereotypes that have been perpetuated in these countries.
If you walking down the street, like down the harbor, and they play like they don't see you, I'm sorry, I'm telling you too much.
Okay, let's really get into it because there's this whole misconception, even in Africa, right? The videos and things that they show us as African American people, you know, if it's white, it's right? And that's why we got all the bleaching, the colorism, even in our own countries, right? And even like Peru and all these different countries, because what was sold to us is if it's white, it's right. And I love everyone, but the thing is, we have to tell the truth, and people have to own up to what they have done to people, because it has hurt people so much that they don't even love their color anymore. They're bleaching. So you have in India right here, they have been sold white is right, and the only way for you to get the prestige is to live a certain way, right? And also there is caste. There's casteism in India. There's casteism in it.
It slip out their mouth, and that's when they catch that beat down.
Sometimes it does.
We know how they move. Like I say, I'm walking down the street, and they want to play like they don't see me. I'm walking straight through the middle of you. You ignore me like I'm invisible. I don't see you either. And then I'm gonna put my elbow up, and I'm gonna look the other way. And if you catch it, you catch it.
I see your argument, but that's not every Indian person. That's some, not all of them.
Not my stay.
And also, like for me, like when I first came to this
But you
country
don't
when I
know
was
my
two,
say you'll catch that Ellie Bow.
when I first came to this country, my father we always dealt with international people, and I got a lot of demonstration for discrimination from African American people. My father was murdered by an African American young man coming out. Now, in my heart, I could be angry at African American people, but I'm not, because that's one person, right? So these stereotypes and these experiences that we can't just blame one person because one thing happened. I'm sitting here like
And
I
we
have a
know
lot
real
of
from
African American friends. I have friends from all different backgrounds.
Baltimore, know real from fun. I know you down there in a different part of Maryland.
Oh, what are you talking about? I love Baltimore too. What are you talking about? Baltimore is a mix of New York and DC and Philly all in one.
I wouldn't say that if I came here.
That's how I feel.
Tell them about the time you were interviewing Denzel.
Oh my gosh. So I didn't even know that I was going to interview Denzel for Fences. So I interviewed the whole entire cast in a private room, and then they were like, "Oh, you're gonna go interview the red carpet," and I'm like, "Okay." I had no idea Denzel was coming. My husband was actually my cameraman, and I was putting the pressure on him because I'm like, you get one shot. So he's on there, he's sweating. You know how those red carpets are. They like this small of a block, but people think it's huge when you're standing there. So you got to angle yourself a certain way. So I'm coming down. His wife is coming down. She got this fly jacket on. And I'm like, yo, your jacket is fly. And I said, you look amazing. She was like, yeah, I think she told me her age. And I was like, black don't crack. You looking fine. You already know what it is, right? And we started laughing and giggling.
You know, that's straight New York. See how you transition all of that Nigerian liberation movement went straight. This is straight New York. You know what I'm saying?
So we laughing or whatever.
I
But
know you get ready to get her.
Yeah.
She don't know.
A young little girl pops out of nowhere and jumps in. She ain't even a part of none of the media. And she's like, "Can I take a picture?" And I was like, yo, they already clocking how many minutes. When you're on the red carpet, you only got a couple of minutes before you can ask your question. You might have had 5, and then it comes down to like 1. And you got to make sure that impact happens when you do the interview. So she takes half of our time. Another girl, she's interviewing him, and she's starstruck. She's just stuttering. And I was like, girl, come on. So it gets to me. And then he's like, yo, this is my beautiful. I was like, me and her already talked already. I said, how you doing? How you doing, Denzel? I said, he was asking about the show. I said, well, he said, what you think about Troy? I said, Troy got some issues and stuff. And we was talking. He said, yo, you remind me of my cousin Karen. He said, you from New York, right? Because he from New York also, right? So he was telling me about his cousin Karen. And I was like, yo, Denzel,
from New York. You did Nigeria, you just went straight on out the window. See? Black people.
And me and him talking, and people, his manager, his people are just sitting there clocking me. And I was like, Denzel, we gotta get to the question. He's like, so he grabs my mic and he like interviewing me. My husband is over there. He was like, I said, my husband's back there. He's like, is he good to you? I was like, yeah, he down there. And he nods at my husband. My husband's like, wow, Denzel, because that's his favorite actor. And we start laughing, and I told him, I said, can you give me a shout out? He never gives people shout out like that. And he was like, he gave me a shout out, and it was so nice. He's a really sweet, down to earth, and he's really loves veterans because he's always supporting veterans. So yeah, interviewing him, Kevin Hart. Oh, I'm also getting an award in December for a President's Award for volunteerism for all my work I've been doing from New York and down here with mental health and just giving back to the community. So yeah. But I mean, shout out to Doni, because Doni has been an inspiration. He's a colleague, a brother, and he's always kept true to his cause of making sure he highlights real voices in the community doing amazing things, even with the Black Wall Street, keeping that, name alive and letting us know that every day we can build a Black Wall Street. Just because, something was taken over doesn't mean we can't recreate it. One thing about the Black mind, the mind in general, if we have an idea, we can create it. I don't care how absurd you might think it is. We can make something out of nothing. You can take make $1 out of 15 cents. Okay, we have the ability. As long as you got a mind, you can create anything. Doni is an author, an amazing inspiration, a mentor, and I love him so much. Me and him get at it sometimes, but it's
Yeah, I
all
was gonna
love.
say, go ahead and put it out
We
there.
get at it. We
The
get at
one
it.
time you got mad at
We
me,
get
Cal.
at
You remember the one time you got mad at me?
it. Yeah.
It was in Washington, D.C. It was not my fault.
I
Dude,
was, I was heated at that man.
ooh. You know, it's kind of like you put a skillet on the stove, you put a little oil in it, and you just turn the fire on and don't do nothing. And go back in 5 minutes and try to put something to cook in there. That woo! She was mad, and it wasn't even my fault. But I have to own
Well,
it.
we didn't get that. We didn't get that other part. But when he came, I was like, oh. But Donnie is Donnie. Okay, that's what Donnie is Donnie. But when you put somebody like this and they disappoint you, you be like, all right. But you know Donnie's heart, so you got to forgive Donnie when he does, do so because he doesn't mean it. Sometimes there's outside things happening that causes him to have these issues. So we forget, like.
I really need you as a publicist these days.
Because these things happen, and remember, Donnie is a human. We all, even people in media and stuff and with the healing work, we always expect people to be on and they have to be like, he's a human, Donnie is forever to go. I really want him to run for Congress, but I know he don't want to deal with all the craziness still. But
I'd rather deal with drug dealers. Politicians, like, at least in the drug culture, there's a code. You lie, you steal, you die. But now with politicians,
I call him the mayor of Baltimore, but he always I call him the mayor of Baltimore though. But he's always, we got somebody. The idea of racism started with the Portuguese started the whole slavery situation. Painted black people as less than humans, and they did their job so well that today
let me help you out. The Portuguese and the Spanish were dominated by the black Moors.
The Moors came in.
So when that reign ended, I guess you had some people that wanted to prove who they were. And so this is something else we don't know, because we always talk about 1619, and that's at least 100 years late. But in South America, the Portuguese were in places like Brazil 100, 125 years before they even came to North America. And that's why there are 40 million blacks in the U.S., according to their numbers, and 110 million in Brazil. We don't know that we got cousins and brothers and sisters.
We definitely got cousins, because in Brazil, you got some Yoruba and Cuba. Yoruba people over there that I found out when I was tracing back and doing the history. And with Spain, they did like China. They kind of creeped in, right? But Portuguese were the ones that wrote that whole thing about black being animals. But I mean, if you look at some of the older texts in the United States, it pinpoints African Americans and Native Americans as savages and all kinds of things, right? Why haven't we changed? Like, honestly, they say, we can't change the Constitution. We have all these amendments. Why can't we?
Christopher Columbus was a rapist.
He never found that he was a rapist.
He was a lost-ass rapist.
It's like they sent all the people that were like rapists, tyrants, and everything to come out here.
They sent the bottom of the barrel.
Yes, they sent the bottom. They never sent any of the elites.
They didn't send Heinekens. They sent malt liquor.
Exactly. Even below malt liquor.
Cisco. They sent Cisco.
They sent those down there. And they told these people to go in there and do the dirty work, right?
That's like the white lady was in my alley, called me a effing N-word because I told her, "Hey, white lady, you got to get out my alley." And she eating out of a bag on the ground. She said, "Excuse me, but is this your alley?" I said, "Well, by golly, it is."
She might have been homeless. God bless her soul, though.
She was homeless, but she was chasing that boogie too.
Oh God! Well, it's a hard epidemic out there in Baltimore with that.
No, the police stopped G-checking them when Freddie Gray happened 8 years ago, and now
that Freddie Gray thing was so terrible.
What was terrible? What was worse is the nonprofits and the churches that came in here collecting money in the name of Freddie Gray, and they took their money back to Randallstown and Essex and wherever else they live at.
See, that's another thing. Like, nonprofits have burned me the wrong way.
black people.
Our own people
Oh
that
yeah,
get caught up with
try
the
to start
green
with the
eye,
churches.
the green eye demon of money. They said the root of all evil. You have a vision, you have a cause, then the money comes, and then you change. It makes no sense seeing these people that say they want to help our people, and then when the money comes, now you done bought you a lavish house, you done did this. You ain't even helping the family.
They didn't
It
even
hurts my heart.
renovate the church.
Renovating the church that's supposed to have been built like years ago, that's still building.
Yeah,
Let's talk about that.
the building fund from 1962.
19 be 1913.
You still got a building fund, dog.
1913. Like my people got private jets and stuff. I'm not going to knock people for
I
doing what they
am.
need to do.
I am, because what
But
would Jesus
when
do?
you got ATMs in the churches, the new holy hustle, when your ceilings are gold and all that stuff, how many of them people do you know by name? How many of those people
Why
do you
preacher
give
need a
back?
Lear jet? If you preaching that much, maybe you ought to just do StreamYard, be $40 or something, you know.
Exactly.
Not
You
putting
know
out an
how we
all
do it.
call for because you need a Lear jet. I need a Lear jet. Ain't nobody give me no damn
Need a
Lear
jet.
jet.
Jets. No, did you see that one pastor guy? I don't know. It's old though. This guy was on trial. I think they were doing an audit, and my man said, "Yeah, I had to go to Louis Vuitton because I need to wear certain outfits, and I need to be dressed out." And they were like, this dude had a whole like compound, and they were asking, "Where's the money going?" And my man would say, "He's like, I gotta take care of myself." I was just laughing, man. The hustle is real. I don't I appreciate the pastors that are actually doing the real work, that are really healing and helping people and giving them real guidance. But you other hustlers, like originally you were pimps and you were hustlers, and then you turned over to be a pastor and you still hustling people, you should be ashamed of yourself. God bless you, but do the right thing. That's all I'm saying. Do the right thing. Do the right thing.
Why
Crazy.
don't you come to my church? Have my and yeah, you done dated 3 ladies on the front row, and I'm gonna come to your church and I'm gonna bring my lady there. Nah, pimp. No, thank you.
The whole pulpit you done hit. Deaconess Mary.
And you got the defenders. Don't talk about pastor.
Don't talk about pastor.
All in my bedroom. Pastor say this. Pastor say
Mm, 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 mm.
you and pastor.
Are we looking at the word, or are we looking at the idolizing the individual? Some people get so
What about
stuck
when
on the
pastor
individual.
pull up in a Gucci Fiat?
And with a Gucci belt and a Gucci suit. Living in a compound in a mansion. Come on now. Let's get it together, my people.
What would Jesus do? PM Smith in Baltimore. PM Smith is the pastor of a beautiful church in Northeast Baltimore, and he comes over here to where I live at, and he brings the whole congregation. They set up right there on Pennsylvania Avenue. That's like setting up on 125th Street, and just it's beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful demonstrations of love, of agape love, of unconditional love that I've ever seen. Right there with the people, and doing his explanation of the word. Thing get me though about them Christians. You gonna tell me about David and Abraham, but you can't tell me about Denmark VC and Zumbi in Brazil, or King Bayana or King Miguel. It's like, that's the one thing get me about Christianity. How people know these stories about Ruth and Hagar, but you don't know nothing about Reginald F. Lewis. You don't know anything about, Kofi Annan, Anwar Sadat. We don't know our own damn history up close and fresh. And then we don't know our real role in the Bible.
Come on now.
I mean, it wouldn't be no Pentateuch, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Wouldn't be none of that if it weren't for the black Hebrews, the Phoenicians, the Egyptians. The story come out of Egypt. But we're going to let this moron over in Athens, who like little boys, tell me about my God and the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. You stole our math. We don't even know algebra is black. That's how gone we are. Algebra was figured out by your people. And the pyramids. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. White
Well,
man
even the Greeks and the Romans will tell you that they learned their mathematics from
Of
Africa.
course they did.
It's written and it's documented. You know, it's not anything brand new. But I just hope that people in general, all of us, all indigenous people, understand our roots, understand where we came from. And African American people, like, your story did not start here in the US, and it didn't just start with slavery. It goes all the way back. I wish they do, even besides the black ancestry and all that stuff. And I wish you'd really dig deep and find out more into the history. And a lot of things are getting uncovered. Like, even though we talk about TikTok, TikTok has shown me so many things that I had back in the day when I was younger, I used to know, but they used to say, oh, no, it's a lie. It's funny how people will take your culture and tell you it's bad, learn it, repackage it, and sell it back to you at a higher bid. Things we took.
When you don't have anything of your own, you have to lie and steal. My thing is just go create your own.
Even look at wars. When we look at wars, who's going to paint themselves out as a loser? They're going to make themselves look like they won. Come on.
Right now, this preacher justified to me killing the Palestinians. And I had to get away from him because I was seriously going to hurt him. I've been to a Palestinian refugee camp. And I saw black people of the Middle East.
Is it that story?
And when you tell me about who the original Hebrew was, time out, son. Let me tell you where they did not come from.
Well, it's a deep story, and once again, I have friends on the Jewish side. I have friends that are on the Palestinian side.
When you come over here, because if your history is no more than a couple hundred years old, it ain't that deep.
Now we have friends from both sides in general, and I actually was also born into the Muslim culture when I was younger, but I'm more of a spiritualist. And when we look at it in regards to like culture, the original people, Palestine was actually there, and there were original people there years ago, and they invited these Europeans that were Jewish they came in and took over the land. Right, and mind you, even before
we got them down the street. They squatters. They moved into the abandoned houses, and they said, "This is my house."
And the sad part,
God told me to come and take this. But see, we got a canine dog crew around here, and we don't have no squatters on this block.
But the sad part is both of them have an indigenous tie there. But they are not the original people. There were original Jews that hung. There was Jews, there were Muslims, and there were Christians. Original ones that all lived there in harmony until the Europeans came.
Up until 1945.
Exactly. And they were in harmony. There was no conflict. There was nothing.
And then somebody these people and say, "Hey, this is mine." Huh?
Come on. But all of this was a political game. We look at the Rothschilds. We know the Rothschilds and stuff and how they've embedded. They had the 5 or 4 sons that were implanted in different places, created banking. This is all streams of money occupying this. Even the U.S. Congress, at one time said, if we didn't have an Israel, we would have to create one. There are some amazing people in Israel that are against this war. Okay, that are against this war. Even soldiers in Israel are talking about they're putting down their arms. They don't want to do this fight anymore. It's insane.
We saw when a little black boy in Northwest Baltimore got his forearm broken because this paramilitary group thought he was a criminal.
Wow.
And that's when Marilyn Mosby got elected, because Greg Bernstein refused to prosecute these people. And the community did not let it go. And you saw Greg Bernstein got to stepping, and he was really a nice guy otherwise. But he wouldn't stand up for that black young man that went to Northwestern High School that got beat up and got his arm broken by this paramilitary force in the Jewish section of town.
Wow.
You got Upper Park Heights and Lower Park Heights. You know the quickest route from Africa to Israel?
Tell me that. Go ahead.
Park Heights. Okay, look, we gotta get out of here.
Don, we gotta get wet. But the last thing is, I honestly pray for both sides that, you know, we stop this war. It is unnecessary. It is brutal. And also with Congo,
the Hatfields and the McCoys, and you dragging everybody else into it.
Yeah, I mean, you got two cousins.
I was in a Palestinian refugee camp. These little kids picked up rocks. They will fight a tank with rocks. So as much as you see people hating one group, you got another group that hate them back just as much, if not more. But these are little kids with rocks that will go up against a tank. We used to be that fearless here in America. Despite the lynchings, despite the rapes, despite the mass incarceration. And that's why when I read about stories like Haiti, there's no way we can finish this interview off and not do a shout out to our brothers and sisters in Haiti who
shout out to Haiti.
Successful insurrection where they kicked the British in their hind parts and sent them out. Napoleon, he was crying. Ooh, they beat it.
They tried it.
Beat the brakes off of them. And that's why you will never hear anything good about Haiti in your lifetime, because Haiti is strong.
Haiti is strong. Panama was trying to pull some BS too. And then Haiti said, we're going to build our own stuff. You want to play? Then we're going to knock all of them. We're going to hit you where it hurts, where your money's at. Because majority of the economics is coming from us. But we're building our own trade routes because you want to play games. Haiti is not the one to be played with. Sac passe, baby. Don't play with the Haitians.
We going out the back door. Don't come too close because I'm carrying heat.
But I appreciate you, Donnie. I appreciate you all. And Donnie is the GOAT, you know, and forever reporting the amazing truth. And, you know, I'm glad we were able to laugh and talk about some real history. And
I want to tell you, thank you. You came up the road for me a couple of times. And I was thinking back, my little girl was about 10 or 11 when they first came up with the cameras and the microphones and the lights. Thank you. Thank you for all you've done.
Hey.
You want to plug your stuff before you go? Let me give you the screen. And then you'll be the final voice we heard here today. Okay. Good morning.
Hello, hi, everyone. I pray that all of you all, you know, live well, do well. And you can hit me up at lushradioonline.com for media stuff. But my main focus is loveenergyservices.com, where we focus on wellness for the BIPOC, the Black community, because when you decide to heal is when you can really leverage yourself from and have liberation and freedom, because so many of us are hurting. So many of us need some healing. So I focus on mental health and transition and help people heal. And I am a 500-hour yoga teacher, and I'm also working on becoming a yoga therapy because it needs more representation to make sure that we're not on this medicine and we're able to find a root cause and we're able to heal that through generations. So may you be well, may you be kind to yourself, and please support Donnie and make sure that, you know, in this place that we find kindness and love. That's the true vibration. I appreciate y'all and I love you.